Oh yeah, you know the drill. We're starting off here at the Woody Woodpecker lot at Universal Studios Hollywood, where work continues on the project that is supposed to be a new security checkpoint. It's allegedly what it is. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they extend out the parking structure just to add a few more spaces. Yeah, a lot continues to happen over here. Excuse me, miss. Anyway, look at that. All of the forms have been put up for some more concrete walls. Over here you can see these have cured enough so that they can take those walls down. But yeah, we're going vertical, and I'm not really sure how high we're gonna go. I don't know if they're gonna go, a few levels up, or if they're gonna stay relatively low to the ground there. And what's interesting over here is you can see the concrete has been poured for these footings right next to the Jurassic parking structure that lead all the way to the end over there. I'm not really sure of the layout of this. Universal hasn't released any plans just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some news here very, very soon, because Disney just announced their plans as far as like the Disneyland Forward kind of stuff goes. They've already shown off some concept art, so yeah, it's only a matter of time before the competitor up the road here shows their cards. And before I forget, hello everyone, welcome back to another Theme Park Obsession video. My name is Dylan, and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Yeah, we're cruising around Universal Studios Hollywood today. It is a beautiful day. They're gearing up for their summer promotion, so I figure I'd do an update before the official kickoff, because I will be doing a video on the kickoff, which will be really exciting, because then they're going to reveal the coaster train, or one of the coaster cars for Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift, so super stoked about that. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time here in the parking structure and head inside the park. Okay, let's move on to the main star of today's show, and that is the Fast and the Furious coaster. And over here at the show building, it looks like they've installed the rest of the lighting that's near the top. You see right there. So that's nice. And also around the corner, a few lighting fixtures that have been installed on that end too. I'm curious to see what other bits of theming are going to be on the outside of the building. So it looks like another lighting fixture is going to go right there, and I'm not seeing any other hookups. So yeah, I wonder what else they got planned for the exterior facade here. Okay, I've made it over to the escalators where we can get a very good shot of the push-pull test happening right now on Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift. There's a really good shot of the coaster car. Isn't that cool? Now what they're gonna do is they're gonna continue this for a few days, if not weeks, as they're gonna slowly push and pull this thing through the entire layout to make sure that everything's ready to go for full-on testing, where we'll see the train go through the course at various speeds, and then eventually at its operating speed. So yeah, this is really cool. I'm glad that they're doing this during the day, because I have been wanting to get these shots, and I'm just so happy that I'm able to show all of this to you, because yeah, also the coaster nerd inside me is giddy right now. I'm super stoked for this. And then here's an even closer look at all of the mechanics that sit underneath where we will eventually be sitting. You can see that 4 people sit inside. And then right down there you could see the wheels and the mechanism that we're sitting on top of that will give us that controlled spin. Because remember, we are going to be spinning through the entire layout. Not like teacups or anything like that, but very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, if you've ever been on that one. There you go, how neat. And it looks like they have some room for some tires on the car itself to, again, make it look like a vehicle that we're drifting around the course in. And I don't think that this zebra print is the final look. I think this is camouflage. So when a lot of car manufacturers do testing on their vehicles, they usually wrap it in some camo. I think the coaster manufacturer has done the same thing here for their coaster cars. They've probably wrapped this in camo as they take it around the course, and the final look will be revealed at a later date. Now, in addition to all the mechanics that are underneath the car itself, you'll also notice the envelope that is surrounding the car where we will be sitting. Now, that's pretty much for clearance. So when they're pushing and pulling this through the course, they're keeping an eye on the support columns and the other track pieces to make sure that if people put their hands up and are flailing around, they're not going to get close to any of those different columns. So that's what that piece is around where the seats are located, if you're wondering what the heck that is. It's pretty much like the maximum distance they have to work with. And even though there's going to be plenty of clearance for us to put our hands up and all that kind of fun stuff, the coaster will have some really good head chopper moments. I mean, just right here alone, there's so much twisted steel that it's going to provide a really good experience when it comes to that. Now, on the other side of the escalator, you can see that the support columns for the Scream shields have gone up. Those big giant columns over there. There's another couple that are sitting right underneath the 19. And these will go all the way up and over the track. I still can't get over how large they are. They're massive. I mean, it's insane. Oh, look at this over here next to Timeline Road. More support columns for the sound wall have gone up, like quite a few of them. So it's nice to see some work continuing on that, because for the longest time, it looks like they just, kind of paused that part of the construction project as they worked on other things. But looks like things are rolling once again. Here's another view of the coaster car being pulled through this part of the layout. And you can also see how large that fake wheel is going to be, because they've kind of installed a little piece to give them an idea of what they're working with there. How fun, though. I cannot wait for this thing to enter the phase of full speed tests. That's going to be so much fun to watch, especially because the layout is, it just looks amazing. So I can't wait to see just how fast we're going to be going through some of these elements, like the corkscrew right there, or the roll right after the escalator element. I mean, there's so many areas of the layout that I'm just like, dang, what is that gonna be like? I cannot wait to see it. So the fact that they've already gotten to this point is really good. That means they're working very, very fast, and thankfully the weather has been cooperating with us here in SoCal. Because of the sound wall, our view into this part of the layout will be obstructed here very, very soon, because you can see that the support columns are gonna be going right up into that turn. So the wall's going to be right there. We won't be able to see at least this portion of the layout when it starts to test, but maybe from the lookout we'll get a nice view. Another thing to point out is that structure that kind of comes out of the show building there, which is supposed to be Q, at least allegedly Q, has now received its roof. So the next step is to eventually just enclose that entire structure. And you can also see they've painted it black. Ooh, there's a lot of work happening on the retaining wall project. And then down over there behind Revenge of the Mummy, the Halloween Horror Nights Haunted House continues its journey. And yet really nothing too different has changed. I don't see any significant changes this week. So maybe next week we'll start to see the facade take a little bit more shape, like the one in the Parisian Courtyard. And as far as announcements are concerned, this one has not been announced just yet. Now, because Jurassic World will be receiving some new goodies for the summer promotion, all the work is happening at the attraction. Some new dinos are starting to show up. Those spitter dinosaurs are back at the tail end of the attraction once again. For a while they were there before they did the renovation into Jurassic World. And yeah, they've returned to get us wet one more time. And speaking of getting wet, they've also installed the new water sprayers for the giant splash effect that they want to do for the summer, because yeah, it gets really hot here in Southern California, and usually you don't get too wet on the Jurassic World final drop. You usually get more wet on the one inside the building. So the fact that they're adding the effect to get us a little bit more wet is pretty awesome. And in addition to me trying to get a tan so it's not so offensive, they've also added a few new dinosaurs around Jurassic World. Gonna make my way over to the lookout, but one thing I forgot to mention while I was walking over here is that they've pushed this construction fence out into the pathway a little bit more. So it's a little bit of a squeeze over here, but that's okay. Okay, let's finish off the video over here. A few more tidbits about the coaster. Oh yeah, here we go. On this end, you can see more support columns have been installed for that sound wall, so they're working their way over to the other end there, which is nice. And it looks like a bunch of scaffolding is still up on the tail end of the dive loop element. And then we have a crew member down over here working on the LSM fins. It's actually a few crew members working on LSM fins today, getting them all hooked up and ready to go. And then if I zoom out, hold on everybody. There's also some crew members here on the block brake section working on all that. So yeah, a lot of activity today. And of course, another view of the push-pull test happening closest to the brake run. This is the finale of the coaster. And I've had a few people already comment on X as I've been making this video what the restraint system's looking like. And it's looking like your standard lap bar kind of restraint system, very similar to Velocicoaster. It doesn't look like an over-the-shoulder like on, you know, say Viper or something at Magic Mountain. This looks to be more like Velocicoaster's setup. But there you have it. That's pretty much your look at Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift this week. I'm not going to ride the studio tour today. Maybe on the next visit or the visit after that, I'll take a spin on it. Now over here at the Parisian Courtyard, look at this. The first layer of detail on this haunted house's facade is starting to take shape, and it's already looking really, really good. They've been knocking it out of the park the past few years for this location as far as the facades are concerned. I mean, even the haunted house itself has been extremely detailed. So I cannot wait to see what this one's gonna look like. And I can't wait to see, you know, what the theme is gonna be. We still have no idea what this one is. It hasn't been announced. The only things that Universal has announced so far for the 2025 season are Fallout and Five Nights at Freddy's. So this one is still a mystery, but boy oh boy, is it looking pretty fancy. Looks like we have a little bit of a window right there, some brickwork, and we have these two big columns, which might be the entry point into the haunted house. And then off to the right, we have some rock, and then another open window spot. So I'm wondering if this is another cemetery setting, like in previous years. I wonder if they're going to continue the Latin American theme here. It's been very popular the past few years at HHN, so it wouldn't be surprising if they continue. But man, oh man, that is looking really good. I can't wait to see what the coloring is going to be like. And then here's one more look. Yeah, the Scenic crew is crushing it. Huge shout out to the crew members working on this haunted house. Looking forward to the announcement, hopefully soon. Well, that's going to do it for today's very quick update from Universal Studios Hollywood. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel and you love these updates from Universal or some of your other favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week that you won't want to miss out on. And also, be sure to check me out on X and Instagram. But until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.